as the coronavirus killed
The number of
more than
people who
200,000.
contracted the
I can't say it
coronavirus
enough.
continues to grow.
Enough
More than
people have died.
1,600
We don't need
Americans
any
are
research
infected.
like crazy.
The virus has come not from China.
Fighting the coronavirus is
Spent weeks minimizing what is clearly a very serious problem. No doubt these people have good intentions.
I think the pandemic has reminded us how we do not have enough doctors in the right specialties and in the right places. Since the beginning of the pandemic, if you would try to remember, doctors have been working round the clock in order to save the lives of people. And in the process, also of doing this one, many dedicated doctors succumb to the deadly virus. And we know all that one in many news that we have seen. We also see hospitals overflowing with patients, understaffed, but then the battle continues. This in itself is a manifestation that the growing need for doctors in every corner of the world remain to become a reality and at the same time a problem. The path to a significant curricular reform is a difficult thing because of a variety of factors, to include the challenge of physical distancing, since we all know practice-based learning is the backbone of education, especially among doctors. We need to see patients. We need to harness our skills, knowledge, and attitude by looking at patients, okay, so that this would be able to enhance or forge our professional identity and develop an orientation to a patient-focused based care that would shape the practice of future medical doctors. We wanted to produce doctors with a heart. And our goal is also to define a unique characteristic that will be anchored to the local needs and national health needs of the people of Mindanao. I believe looking at the vision mission of the college and influenced by the universal healthcare law, I think we seek to envision and integrate a comprehensive approach that will be cost-effective, promotive, and preventive, as well as curative, palliative, and rehabilitative, one that would encompass the entire domain of the individuals and the population, particularly here in Mindanao. For we are trying to be committed in producing medical doctors imbued with a heart to serve and is willing to contribute for nation building in our country. And I think this is always a possible. This is always our strategic plan to set apart JMC as a college of medicine. We wanted to create doctors with a heart. We are very lucky. We have our own LMS, the Learning Management System, powered by Huawei. This is the first in the Philippines. Everything is there in terms of lectures, in terms of resources for learning. And I think our new generation could adapt of it because these are the computer-based population. The COVID-19 has resulted in schools shut down all across the world. And education has changed with a distinctive rise in the new method of learning. And I think adaptability and ingenuity were the two core values that we have learned from this experience. Dream big. They have to dream big. Dare to dream. As long as you have the dedication, you have the passion of becoming good doctors in the future, we welcome you to the College of JMC, especially in the Department of Medicine.
Are you looking for the best online education at the most affordable school fees? Enroll now at Jose Maria College. Jose Maria College, under the leadership of its founding president, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy, holds true to its mission of providing an assured, consistent, and quality education amidst the ongoing crisis on COVID-19. To ensure that all students will get the best learning experience, JMC provides an assured education with the most flexible learning delivery choices. To highlight the learner's wit and abilities, JMC is consistent in providing the best learning exposures with a student-centered showcase of extracurricular activities. Amidst the challenges of the new normal, JMC guarantees that quality education is not compromised through our learner-centered curriculum, highly trained and dynamic faculties, and state-of-the-art facilities designed to deliver the best learning experience to our students. We are proud to say that JMC is fully equipped for new normal education. What are you waiting for? Enroll now! Scan the QR code on your screen for more details. Your future is our mission. Enroll now!
Enroll now at JMC. Enroll now at JMC. With our assured, consistent, and quality education. Enroll now at JMC. Enroll now at JMC. Enroll now at JMC. In this new normal way, our future's our mission. Enroll now at JMC.
Good day, everyone! Welcome to another episode of JMC EduTrends, a discussion that informs, inspires, and transcends. To all our first-time viewers, this program streams live on www.facebook/Jose Maria College and on YouTube at JMC EduTrends. Don't forget to type in your comments and questions, send your emojis, click the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you would be notified of future discussions on JMC EduTrends. Without much delay, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the program host of today's discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, folks and friends, JMC EduTrends family, welcome to another episode of JMC EduTrends, a discussion that informs, inspires, and transcends. I am your host, Lord Vincent Van Mendoza, the head of training and development of this great academy. And I'll be with you in this another special episode of the show. This is being broadcast via official YouTube and Facebook channels of Asemire College. And you know what? In this episode, we will have a discussion on propagating awareness to our fellow countrymen, sa ating mga kababayan, about the impact of world mining. All right. That being said, we have invited a very esteemed guest who I will introduce shortly. But, meanwhile, gusto ko munang i-check if you guys are so ready for our discussion this afternoon. Kindly type in hashtag JMC EduTrends. And the moment you guys will be placed on the spotlight, all right, i-shout out namin kayo ng mabilisan. We have Maria Labus, we have Jerry Sumaganday. Good afternoon, J. Marian Sumaganday, Jerry. Ayun. Marchie Labus, good afternoon, everyone. Stand strong, J. Marians. Ayun. We also have from Cristel Elijah Maningas. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, may style siya sa paggreet, no? Good afternoon, everyone. Cute naman nun, ah. All right. I hope that you liked our new kickoff of our JMC EduTrends. Keep sending in your greetings at saka ang ating attendance check muna tayo. We have Hisel, Kathy. Who else is here joining us this afternoon? We also have Ritzy Ingwa. Good afternoon din sa inyong lahat and to the rest of our JMC EduTrends family and friends. We have Jessa Fed Joyce, ayan, JMC EduTrends. April Raycan de los Reyes. And yeah, also joining us is the Donet Jane or Donate Jane Alyawan. And Kim Carmontanya, ayun pa rin, hashtag JMC EduTrends. Keep it coming. Don't you worry because we'll still be giving time later on in our show sa inyong mga greetings at saka sa inyong questions. All right? Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored and so privileged to be the one to introduce to you our speaker for this afternoon's JMC EduTrends episode. And our guest speaker for today is a purebred product of the University of the Philippines from the nursery until law school, right? And he worked as an executive assistant and speech writer to former Batasang Pambansa Assemblyman Rene Cayetano, to Don Enrique Zubel, and then SBMA Chair Richard Gordon. He also worked as a public affairs commentator and columnist, and currently he's the vice president for public affairs and communications of Nickel Asia Corporations. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please help me welcome with your warm virtual applause our guest speaker for this afternoon? We have Attorney Jose Bayani Baylon. Ayan, good afternoon po, Attorney.
Thank you, Lord Vincent. Actually, hindi ako attorney so don't call me lang attorney, no? Pero
I'm so sorry po. Kasi may law, na-mention kasi dito sa law school. Or,
I have to say, Lord
my bad
Vincent, if I say thank you, Lord, iba-ibang usapan niyo kaya. Thank you, Lord Vincent. And salamat sa mga nakikinig ninyong mga... So now I know JMC kasi I used to wonder, where is JMC? Tapos pag pupunta akong Davao, I can see this beautiful building next to the airport. Kayo pala yun. What a beautiful campus. I saw the video, beautiful campus. Talo pa yung UP High ko nung sa bagay. Matagal na akong sa high school. Pero maganda yung campus nyo. Sana I can enroll kahit na hindi online pag wala ng pandemic.
Yes, sir. It's the one that welcomes you once you land on it's an international airport. Anyway, yes, but I go by the name na Vince po. You can call me Vince. And
Vince.
I just learned pala, sir, that you are a speech writer. If ano ba, sir, if how would you wish to be introduced if it's your way po?
Meron ka lang hindi sinabi dyan na I'm also a single father of 2.
Oh.
Kaya lang, 2, magkaiba ang nanay nila. Yun lang magkaibang mothers nung 2 anak ko. Kaya lang kasi aso yung 2 anak ko. No, hindi pa. So yun yung 2 babies ko na nasa bahay.
For parent ka po, sir.
Yes.
All right. All right. I won't hold much of your time. Please have your way. And
all right,
welcome once again to JMC.
Thank you, Vince. Congratulations to JMC. Itong well, actually si Enrique Hill dapat magpe-present today, but he was not available, so they looked for somebody who looked like him. So ako yung napili. That's why I'm here, no? But I'd like to congratulate JMC kasi itong EduTrends ninyo na ang slogan pa nga is inform, inspire, and transcend. I think is so perfect because in this day and age of information, ang labanan ngayon ng mga kabataan tulad natin, tulad mo, Vince, tsaka ako, is information.
Yes.
A guy your age in Canada, in Brazil, in South Africa and South Korea, he may be richer, right? He may be whiter, but if you have more information and you know how to use information, talo mo siya. And therefore, it is, I salute JMC for, yan, sabi ni Honey, kamukha nga daw ako ni Enrique. Thank you, Honey, I love you. Kung talo mo siya sa information, talo mo siya in everything. So congratulations to JMC for the foresight of launching something like this, EduTrends, and of course, Inform, Inspire, Transcend. I was also touched by the video I saw about your College of Medicine and your dean was talking about the need for more doctors. Totoo yan. My father was a professor of medicine, my mom was a nurse, so naintindihan ko yung need. And then, I don't know if you see my pin here. This is a pin of a COVID survivor because I was COVID critical here. I was COVID critical in March of this year, no, and I spent 12 days in St. Luke's battling the disease. Akala ko yung first day mamamatay ako, pero yung masamang damo daw nabubuhay pa, kaya nabuhay pa ako. No, but yes, without the properly trained healthcare workers, we will saan tayo pupulutin? So congratulations rin sa College of Medicine ninyo na may ganun kayong klaseng program. Now, I was asked to discuss mining, no, world mining in a new normal. But and I will talk about part of that later, but I'd like first to bring it down to mining in the Philippines, specifically yung ginagawa namin sa Nickel Asia. Our company was established about 10 years ago, pero kasi our company is the mother company. Meron kaming 4 na mining companies na matagal na nagmamine. Nung 10 years ago lang sila pinagsama under one mother company in Nickel Asia. One of our companies is in Surigao del Norte, called Taganito. One is also in Surigao del Norte, called Hinatuan. One is in the Dinagat Islands, called Cagjanao Mining, and one is in Palawan, called Rio Tuba. And you can see now on your screen a computer lab in a grade school. That's the grade school we have in our mining site in Palawan. And if you notice, all their computers are Mac computers. So, kinainggit ko nga na nung high school ako, abacus pa ang ginagamit namin noon, or typewriter. Pero ngayon, bihira ka makakita sa mga liblib na lugar, no? Hindi major city, kundi isang bayan sa Palawan, sa pinakadulo ng Palawan, mas malapit pa sa Sabah kaysa sa Malaysia. Yan ang itsura niya. Mac computers ang gamit niya dahil nga naniniwala kami, parang JMC, na information is critical. So, let's discuss the relevance of mining in the new normal. Next slide, please. Sa kami sa Nickel Asia, one lesson we learned about this whole pandemic is that you cannot leave anyone behind. No? If you leave anyone behind, then you've failed. And therefore, that was enunciated by our president, a very young president named Dennis Zamora, who's 48 years old. Nung nag-start ang pandemic last year, sabi niya, we have to make sure that not one of our employees is left behind. And yun ang ginawa namin. Next slide, please. So, over the last 12, 16 months, just in terms of COVID assistance to our communities, whether it's food, whether it's PPEs, whether it's masks, whether it's testing equipment, we've supplied more than $1 million or 60 million pesos in COVID assistance. Ito ang mga request ng LGUs who host our mining kasi malayo sila sa Metro Manila. Alam naman natin na pag hindi ka syudad, if you're not a progressive city like Davao City or Manila, if you're a small town, mahirapan ka. Pag hindi ka tinulungan ng mga businesses na in your community, then you're in trouble. And part of our commitment to the communities which are our hosts is that we will be with them in sickness and in health, no? And definitely this is a moment of in sickness, and that's why you have pictures like that showing you what we do for the communities we have. Next slide. More importantly, we also realized that in Surigao City, walang laboratory or laboratory, as the British would say, ang Red Cross, no? Kung saan pwedeng ma-test kaagad ang samples na nakukuha sa ilong mo sa swab para malaman kung meron kang COVID o hindi. Kung ikaw ay nasa Surigao, just like our mining firms are, and you think you have COVID, if they will test you with a swab, either sa Davao papadadalhin ng sample, which takes about 10 hours by bus, or ililipad to Cebu, or ililipad sa Manila. So we decided that together with our Japanese partners to donate the first molecular test lab ever in Surigao, which was put up in Surigao City, so that ngayon yung mga taga Surigao City and Surigao Province, del Norte, del Sur, within a day, no, malalaman na kaagad nila yung resulta ng kanilang tests. The nice thing pa about this molecular test lab ay hindi lang ito pang COVID. This is for all other diseases na virus or bacterial in nature, whether it's HIV, Zika, Ebola, or etc. etc. So again, by donating this to our community in Surigao, we feel na natulungan namin i-uplift ang quality ng healthcare doon sa probinsyang yon, na hindi na siya reliant on Davao City or Cebu City or worse, Metro Manila, para lang malaman kung ako ba ay may sakit o hindi. Proud kami. We donated the money in June 12 of last year, and I think it was early this year when we finally cut the ribbon to put up the lab. Next slide. Ito pa, this is much more important and special to me, no? As I said, not one of our employees, we have about 3,000 regular employees all over the country, not one lost his or her job. Not one had to take a pay cut. And most importantly, when the company gave out the mid-year bonus, which is required by law, it also gave out an additional 13-month pay in 2020 and another mid-year bonus in 2021. And the total of that has been 378 million. Kuminsan nga nag-uusap kami mga office mates ko, we say na ang dami naming kaibigan na naghihirap, no, nawala ng trabaho, nasara ang business. Kami swerte lang namin na tuloy-tuloy ang aming trabaho, tuloy-tuloy ang aming kita. Yung mga pamilya ng office mates ko napapakain, yung mga aso ko napapakain ko. Kundi sila ako mapakain, baka akong kainin nila. Dahil yung office namin, ang business namin, ang aming operations ay tuloy-tuloy. And sabi ko nga sa inyo, because the bosses said no one has to be left behind, the company makes sure that in turn, no, it appreciates what the employees do by giving out mid-year and 13-month pay when many companies in fact had to close. Next slide. Now, we think of what is mining ba? No? Marami sa atin kasi ang nakarinig na masama ang mining, nakakasira ito ng kalikasan, and we've seen pictures of these. No? Unfortunately, many of those pictures are true, no? Because may mga operations ng mining na irresponsable. Kasi lahat naman ng industriya, lahat naman ng calling, no? May mga irresponsable talagang tao. May irresponsableng magulang, may irresponsableng anak, may irresponsableng doktor, abogado, etc. etc. Pero dahil may mga irresponsable, hindi ibig sabihin lahat ay irresponsable. And what we try to do at Nicolasia is to demonstrate na kasama kami doon sa mga responsable. No? And you will see this later in a picture I will show you about how a mine site looks like. But there is something even more important. Marami kasi nagsabing dapat walang mining. Unfortunately, if you stop mining, in effect, you stop your green future. And why do I say this? Next slide. The world is slowly shifting from gasoline engines to electric engines. No? Hindi yan masyadong totoo sa Pilipinas. In fact, I think kung titingin ka ng mga kotse na for sale, baka sa Toyota, baka isa lang ang modelo na electric. Sa Nissan, isa lang. Kung may pera ka sa Mercedes-Benz, isa lang. Hindi yan tulad sa Europa, where many of the car companies have committed that by the year 2030, lahat na ng kanilang sasakyan ay electric, wala ng gasolina. Bakit mahalaga yon? Dahil ang gasolinang engine ang nagbibigay ng greenhouse gases. Now, the problem with stopping mining is that if you stop mining, you will not be able to have electric cars simply because the batteries of cars are use nickel in order for them to run. Bakit nickel? In-explain ko nga kay Vince kanina. Ang nickel kasi may mga properties siya na napakahalaga. Unang-una, hindi siya kinakalawang. Kaya kung meron kayong mga kaibigan na linalagyan ng tinatawag nilang stent, ito'y parang isang spring na pinapasok sa puso para bumukas yung arteries. Yun ay nikelado dahil ayaw mong kalawangin yun dun sa loob ng puso mo. No? Kung kumakain ka, gumagamit ka ng kutsara at tinidor na stainless steel, yun ay nikelado. It is nickel so that it doesn't turn to rust. Nickel also has the feature that it is able to withstand the highest heat. That's why in machines which require the ability to withstand heat, like furnaces, ovens, or even aircraft or car engines, you have nickel components in that because you don't like flying an airplane and looking out the window and seeing that your engine is on fire. Now, it's also in batteries, no? The batteries of your cell phone, the batteries of your laptops. These are nickelized batteries. And the future of the green earth, if we are going to go green and getting away from fuels in cars, is to go batteries in cars. And this slide tells you that the trend to achieve longer distances in cars is the future. So ulitin ko, hindi pa ito totoo sa Pilipinas kasi hindi pa natin masyadong pinupush ito. Pero sa Europe, sa America, even sa China, almost 50% na ng kanilang sasakyan ay electric vehicles. And to get an electric vehicle, you need mining, especially nickel. Next slide. This next slide will show you the trend in the demand for nickel. The dark green one, which is the smaller one, shows you the demand for batteries. And kung titingnan yung pinaka-leftmost in 2020, maliit lang siya. But if you look at the rightmost in 2040, halos kalahati na siya nung higher beam. No? The higher bar is the demand for stainless steel. And again, ang stainless steel, pag hindi mo hinaluan ng nickel, ay kakalawangin. So yung building nyo dyan sa JMC, nakatabi ng airport, bago yan nagawa. No? First floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, dapat yung nilalagyan ng bakal sa gitna yan ng semento. Kung yung bakal na yun ay kinalawang over the course of time at may tumamang isang earthquake, delikado kayo. But if that bakal, if that steel has nickel in it, then you will have a stainless steel type of iron bar, and your bar will last forever. The next slide will show you that there's also a growing demand for renewable energy. And I mentioned this for two things. Unang-una, dahil, again, part of renewable energy is batteries, and that is where our main product, nickel, comes in. It is also important to us at Nickel Asia because we have a renewable energy company, which we call Emerging Power. No? It is a renewable energy company which has a solar farm in Subic. Soon it will be producing 200 megawatts of power. It is targeting to go up to 1,000 megawatts of power. We have a claim for a geothermal power plant in Mindoro and one in Biliran. And we are looking at putting more solar farms in Iloilo, Palawan, and hopefully in the Davao area. Again, you also need nickel for this because, of course, the solar panels have to be in cages, which have to be able to withstand the changes of the temperature and the weather, which includes stainless steel, which includes nickel. But other than that, one of our companies, Emerging Power, is also into this. Next slide. This is interesting. Baka hindi nyo na alam to, but the Philippine government is committed to increasing the demand for renewable energy. The green bar is talks about conventional power, and if you notice, it's still growing over the years. But the growth is not as big as the renewables, which is the lighter green part of the chart. By 2040, I don't know how old by then. Hopefully I'm still alive. More than half of the power of the Philippines will be coming from renewable energy. And again, by that time, I suppose we will have far more electric cars on the street. Next slide. Shifting back to what we do in the Philippines. As I was telling you, hindi natin maititigil ang mining dahil pag tinigil mo ang mining, hindi na tayo makakabili ng bagong laptop, hindi tayo makakabili ng bagong cellphone. Kung merong elevator ang school niya't nasira, sorry na lang kayo. More importantly, we will not have the electric cars, we will not have the airplanes, we will not have the elevators and escalators, etc., etc. So kung mining is important and cannot be stopped, then mining has to be responsible. And sa pananaw namin sa Nickel Asia, responsible mining is the only way. Kung hindi responsible mining, wag nyo nang ituloy yan kasi hindi mining yon. Next slide. To show this, how we do this, we spend an enormous amount of money for our communities. Last year, we spent 137 million in corporate social responsibility. We spent 332 million in social development management programs, which I will explain. And we spent even more, 865 million, in EPEP, which I will explain last. CSR, ang CSR ay mga projects ng company na ginagawa niya dahil gusto niyang gawin. Magbibigay siya ng tulong sa isang komunidad dahil nabagyo, magbibigay siya ng tulong sa isang pamilya dahil nagkasakit, etc. etc. Yan ang CSR. SDMP ay required ng batas, no? Ito ay mga social projects in the communities, nagpapagawa ka ng kalye, magpapagawa ka ng clinic, magpapagawa ka ng eskwelahan, magpapagawa ka ng health center, na dapat gobyerno ang gumagawa, pero pinapasa niya sa mga mining firms para gawin. And finally, EPEP is a Environment Protection Enhancement Program. This is required by law dahil dun sa dating batas natin, wala pa tayo napapanganak nun. I mean ako napanganak na. Doon sa dating Mining Act, hindi required ang mga minero na ayusin ang kanilang mga mga mined out areas. Pwedeng iwanan na lang nila. Pero under the new Mining Act in 1994, they required companies to spend for environmental protection enhancement. And you see an example of this in the lower right-hand picture of the slide, which shows you a forest. Hindi ko alam kung mananiwala kayo na yung lugar na yan dati ay minahan, at nung natapos na kaming minahin, ginawa na lang namin forest. Diyan pumapasok yung mga gastos ng isang mining firm like Nickel Asia sa environmental enhancement and protection. Second to the last slide. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the United Nations in 2015 decided to call the rest of the world, to launch sustainable development programs. It was a United Nations General Assembly on September 25, 2015, which issued that declaration. And as a result, the UN started to put together goals, for countries and companies to aspire to. This include the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I'm sure some of you have heard about that. And then they decided to put up what they call the UN Global Compact, kung saan sasama ang mga kumpanya at sila ay mangangako na gagawin nilang lahat para matupad ang mga require ng United Nations. Proud kami sa Nickel Asia kasi kami ang kauna-unahang mining company sa Philippines na naging bahagi nito. And while na-excite ako kasi pumayag ang presidente namin, whose picture is on the screen, na sumama sa UNGC, hindi ko akalain na gagawin pala niyang trabaho ko ang sustainability. Kaya kami ng mga team ko ay dagdag ang trabaho just to make sure that Nickel Asia meets its commitments to sustainable development as part of what we do in the company. In the end, the last slide, our vision is evolving and kami naniniwala na ang trabaho namin is to contribute to sustainable national development through what we do, which is the responsible utilization of our mining resources, of the natural resources. Ang isa yatang hindi ko napakita sa inyo ay yung mga awards na natanggap namin. I think I missed that slide. Because we have received countless recognition. In fact, we are proud that our mining in Rio Tuba is the first winner of the ASEAN Mineral Award. Imagine, there are 10 countries in ASEAN. There are mining firms, I think, in 6 out of the 10 countries. And out of all of the mining firms in ASEAN, the best was a Filipino mining firm, which is ours, called Rio Tuba in Bataraza, Palawan. To me, that is something that tells you that kaya ng Pilipino, kaya natin if we put our minds to it, and kaya natin because we understand what our responsibilities are, not only to ourselves, but to the community at large. I would rather stop here and take your questions, because I'm sure many of you have not even been to a mining operation before. Many of you have heard things about mining. Some of it may be negative, some may be positive, and you may wish to be enlightened about it, because I will tell you myself, I worked for Coca-Cola for 15 years, and then I moved in 2012 to Nickel Asia, my first time in a mining firm. So ang dami kong na-realize ang mga realizations after moving to Nickel Asia. Right things I've heard about mining, wrong things I've heard about mining, but it is an eye-opener, and I'm happy to say that in this company where I work, we try to be as good to the community as we can, because if we're not good to the community will also not be good for us, and that's not good for business. So again, to JMC, congratulations on this EduTrends. It's a great program. I hope you continue with it, and I'd be happy, in fact, to listen in on future EduTrends because I might learn more here than watching TikTok on YouTube. Thank you, Lord Vince. Mabuhay.
There you have it, JMC EduTrends family, the Vice President for Public Affairs and Communications of Nickel Asia Corporation. Sir JB, I know right before our EduTrends friends and family members, while they are composing their questions, they might be, thinking of what questions they might want to pose in our discussion this afternoon. I just want to give a sort of an orientation. This is not official. It's just my way of perhaps trying to organize the way we funnel the questions. Since our three-word mantra is inform,
Inspire.
inspire, and transcend, we begin by asking questions which are based on Bloom's taxonomy because we are an academe. All right, I will facilitate that. Don't you worry, because I'm into education naman. And then after that, we will try to ask questions that are inspiring, anything that may not really be technical, but it's something that is seen or felt behind the story. And then transcending questions, anything that you might want. It could be may metaphor, pwedeng ganun, or anything that you want to ask. All right? But before we take a break, Sir JB, mag-ano lang muna tayo ng quick quiz muna sa ating viewers. By the way, Sir JB, I know we are the SF students or the student formation students are joining us this afternoon. So sila yung tatanungin ko. All right, the first question is, okay, simple recall, where is or at what company is Sir JB currently affiliated or connected? Sige. Sinabi ko na yan ulit-ulit at sinabi din ni Sir JB. Sige, tignan nga natin kung sino yung mauna. Alright? Walang makakasagot. Again, saan ko presently connected si Sir JB? Si Marian, pwedeng magsagot si Marian. Do I have to give choice letter options? Hindi pwede. Wow, very good. We have one from PJ Nuena. I think he got it correctly. PJ Nuena. Ayun. Pakishow nga ng answer niya. Nickel Asia Corporation. Yan. Tama ba yun, Sir JB?
Tama naman.
Okay. Tama naman daw. parang hindi convinced. Alright, go Kaz. Oy, andito pala yung pinsan ko si Hana Yanggurin Manding. Hello Kaz, keep your cool ka lang dyan. One last question for our quick review. Ito, give at least one, okay? Give at least one prominent public figure for whom Sir JB has written speeches. Ayan. Sige nga, kung nakinig kayo sa introduction kanina. Para pag may recency effect, may primacy effect din. Kung ano yung unang narinig nyo, at saka yung pinaka-recent na pakinggan niyo. Sige nga, eto. Give at least one prominent public figure for whom Sir JB has written speeches. Sige. May nagsagot dito, Ramon Avila. Hindi, mali. Ay, siya pala. Bakit may mga ganun? Go, Kaz. Lord Vincent, mali, Kaz. Sige. Ang bilis naman ng technical natin, director, si Marian. On the spot ko kasi yun ginawa, Sir JB. Tapos nilagay niya agad dyan, no? Baka may caption generator tayo dito.
Galing, eh.
Si Enrique Hill daw. Si PJ Nguyen. Yun ang tumatak, di ba? Magaling talaga si Sir JB na orator kasi 'di ba? May element of wit and humor all at once. Walang makakasagot. Sige, ako na lang for the information of everybody. Eto. Si Rene, Pambansang Assemblyman Rene Cayetano. 'Di ba? Tudon
Kilala mo ba yan? Kilala mo ba si Rene Cayetano?
Yes po, siya po yung yung parent po nila Senator Cayetano.
Right.
Tama ba ako?
Father ni
Parang
Senator
parang
Juan.
dating ano siya, 'di ba? Parang dating senator din
Oo, tama.
sa Philippines. Oh, 'di ba? So hindi na ako ganoon
Yak ng
kabata
jacket.
din. Naputol po. Anong naputol? Community 2 Q. All right. Anyway, we'll get back shortly after our quick break. All right. But before we do so, let me do another quick shout out to our viewers. Aking pinsan Hana, yung green manding. Ano yan siya, social work student or graduate na pala dito sa JMC. And then also joining us, we have PJ, Nuena, Marchi, Labus, and the rest of our JMC EduTrends family. We will be right back after a short break, and when we come back, we'll have our audience's questions entertained, and we shall also, shed light to your questions as we, as we entertain more questions in our Q&A portion. Stand by with us and let us all together watch this.
Take a deep breath and look around. Did you ever wonder what's happening now? Seems the world is falling apart. Every day is breaking our heart. What happened to the world? If we're all alone, what happened to the place we call home? Let's fight the sun's enemy. Let's be one, you and me with unity. No matter what pain, no matter what strife, we can make it through with God on our side. Some sort of battle we can win. Everyone will be beneath his wings. If we work together, make the choices matter. We'll all be free from adversity. If we're alone, what happened to the place we go home? This is a world our own. Let's fight and be strong. Let us defend our own.
You just witnessed a very invigorating spirit of talent from one of our or from some of our J Marians. There you have it, yung ano nga ulit na yun, let's fight this unseen enemy. Di ba? Ang ganda ng message ng kanyang kanta. Yes, we are back, and still with me in the show is the Vice President for Public Affairs and Communications of Nickel Asia Corporation. This time, we're going to entertain your questions, so you may now send in your queries. Ayan, anybody?
Sino
Pero
ang
ito,
first
Sir JB, ako na lang siguro ang mauna. On behalf of somebody who sent his question to me via Facebook. Sir JB, we would understand, we can always be optimistic because we are in the business setting. But if truth be told, in your opinion, po, what do you think is the main problem with mining?
The main problem with mining?
Yes, po.
I think the main problem with mining is the bad stories. Wait, let me answer it this way, okay? I came from Coca-Cola. Okay? Have you seen a Coca-Cola ad recently, or a poster or a billboard? Vince?
Not recently, Sir JB, pero alam ko yung branding kasi na na parang tumatak sa akin na it's like a branding proposition of Coca-Cola is that they want us to buy happiness.
Okay. Don't you see Coke signs outside on the street?
Yes, meron po. Meron po.
All right. But you don't see mining signs outside on the street, di ba?
Yes, wala.
Okay.
Not
I'll give you an
even
example.
one.
This is an indirect way to answer your question. When I was at Coke, Coke would spend 500 million pesos in 1 year for advertisements. So it tells its story. Yung Happiness Factory, yung the Christmas truck, Santa, diba? Half
Yes, po.
a billion pesos, 500 million pesos on advertising. One company lang yan. I think kung i-add mo lahat ng ginagastos ng mining firms sa advertising sa Philippines for 1 year, baka hindi pa umabot ng 5 million pesos. What is the reason for that? Very simple. Ang Coke may binebenta sa'yo. Di ba? They're hoping na pag nauhaw ka, pag soft drinks ang inumin mo, you will drink Coke. Pag tubig, you will drink Wilkins. Pag juice, you will drink Minute Maid, etc. etc. Ang mining kasi, wala siyang binebenta sa ordinaryong tao. So, it does not spend on advertising. Okay? Now, the problem there is, ang Coke, kita mo, sabi mo, nag-stick sa utak mo na it wants to give you happiness, di ba? Yan ang produkto ng 500 million every year na ginagastos ng Coke sa advertising. Kung hindi kagagastos tulad ng mining, at may mga lumalabas na negative stories about mining, yun ang didikit sa isip mo.
Yes po.
For obvious reasons, di ba? So yun ang problema ng mining. Because it does not sell you anything, it does not sell the public anything, it does not spend money to tell you the good things that we do. You will be surprised that in the 1900s, when mining started in Baguio, a company like Benguet and Felix put up schools in the mountains so that the Igrots can go to school. Wala pa yung tinatawag na corporate social responsibility, ginagawa na nila. Okay? Pero hindi nila binobroadcast sa atin lahat kasi they don't need to tell us because we don't buy their product. Now, the problem is if they don't tell us the good things they do, and somebody tells you the bad things they are alleged to do, yung bad things na yun ang didikit sa isip mo. And to me, that is the biggest problem of mining. Because I'm convinced that you cannot not have mining. Ano bang model ng cellphone mo ngayon?
iPhone po.
iPhone 15?
6 Plus lang.
iPhone 6 Plus. Ako, nakabili pa ako ng iPhone na first. Okay? If after the first iPhone mining stopped, wala ng iPhone 6, wala ng iPhone 12, wala ng iPhone 15 kasi paano ka gagawa ng iPhone, 'di ba? Kaya lang napakalakas nung anti-mining na sa isip natin kasi marami tayong naririnig na masamang nangyayari sa mining, hindi natin naririnig yung magandang ginagawa nila because they don't spend in telling you the story. That's the biggest problem. Of course, sinasabi ko, 'di ba? Sabi ko kanina, may mga responsibleng miners eh. We have to crack down on irresponsible minors. There are irresponsible teachers, 'di ba? They get sanctioned. There are irresponsible policemen. They get sanctioned. But you do not sanction the whole police force. You do not fire all the teachers. You have to crack down on the responsible mining operations so that ang matitira lamang ay yung responsableng operations. That's my very long answer.
I actually appreciate the way you answer, Sir JB. No, I like the juxtaposition, how you know present those two uh, parties or concepts
Mhm.
together, and yeah, parang I think may parang the same bandwidth tayo sa pag ano. Kasi usually yung iba hypo ano bang term diyan? Hypophora.
Hypothetical?
Hypophora ba yung ano, yung sa
Ah,
rhetorics na
ah,
directly mag but I really like the way you presented it because it shows no na parang at to some extent parang may parang ano parang unfair treatment on the way we view mining as a business industry. So ayun po
well,
siya mga ano no JMC friends that in some way may mga ano naman. So ayun if yun yung unang tanong Sir JB, ibahin ko naman siya. Ano
sige.
naman yung ano yung pinaka ano niya, pinaka benefit or ano bang magandang niyang may dulot?
Oh, I
Not
will give you
just to any aspect was environment
I will give
to the
you
humanity.
one benefit I showed you in the slide, di ba? You study in a booming city of Davao. You are studying actually in a very progressive school. You're able to do that because you happen to be a city boy or a boy who, if you were born in the province, was able to come to the city and find the opportunity. Imagine kung ilang Pilipino, ilang milyon ang hindi makagawang ganyan tulad natin dalawa dahil nandun sila sa mga liblib na lugar. Di ba? Wala silang ilaw, wala silang kuryente, wala silang tubig, wala silang ospital, wala silang eskwelahan. Bakit? Kasi hindi maglalagay ng cell site ang globe doon, wala naman may cellphone. At walang may cellphone kasi walang globe. So it's circular. Now, it happens that most mining operations ay nandun sa mga liblib na lugar. Yung lugar namin sa Bataraza, Palawan, dati it would take 20 hours to get there from Puerto Princesa. Walang pupunta doon. Bakit ka pupunta doon? Madaming buwaya, madaming malaria, 'di ba? Wala namang Shoemart. Ba't ka pa pupunta doon? Wala, 'di ba? Pero nandun yung mga mayayamang lupa eh. So yun ang ginawa naming mining firm. And look what happens now. You have a school there na ang computer lab is Mac. Nicer than many other schools in Davao. 'Di ba? So now you have communities in the hinterlands with the opportunity to study online using the best computers they have. They have their own hospital there na dati wala. They have beautiful houses, no, where before there was none, and they have beautiful roads. Without those, their lives would be terrible. And the reason why there are those things in the community is because responsible mining brought them there. So, wherever responsible mining goes, nag-i-improve ang buhay ng Pilipino. I have one question. Have you been to Baguio?
I almost got there pero iniwan kasi nila
Baguio.
ako sa Cabuyao, Laguna, Sir JB. Hindi ako
Seryoso.
sinama.
Baguio
What's
used to
so special with Baguio po pala?
well, malamig eh. Number two, Baguio used to be a mining town. Naging Baguio siya kasi nung dumating ang mga Amerikano in the 1900s, they found gold in the mountains. So they built Cannon Road to go up the mountain and they started to mine gold, no? Benguet Corporation, Felix, etc., etc. And so a community was born in the mountains na wala naman dati. And now we know it as Baguio City. So when mining is responsible, ulitin ko, when mining is responsible, the communities flourish. And to me, that's the good side about it. That's why, as sabi ko kanina, there only has to be one way of mining. It has to be the responsible way.
There we have it. You just mentioned responsible mining. Siguro sa sa perspective ng company at large, specifically yung Asian Nickel Company. We have one question here that I want to put on the spot from
Sure.
Christine Joy Lebico. I think we can just parang ignore na lang the first one kasi dalawa yung questions niya. Yung isa yung ano na lang yung isa. How can we say that a certain miner is responsible in his or her job?
Okay, I will throw it back to you. How can we say that a citizen is a responsible citizen?
When he or she is not law-abiding.
So, a citizen is irresponsible pag hindi siya sumusunod sa batas.
Opo. That's
Tama?
one.
Okay.
Opo.
That's the main one. Di ba?
Yes.
That's also the same thing for mining. A miner is responsible if they follow the law. If they don't follow the law, close them down because they are irresponsible. It's as simple as that. And what does the law require? It requires na pag na-mine out area mo, dapat i-rehabilitate one. I showed you a picture of a forest na dati mined out area. You pay them the proper, you pay your employees the proper salaries. You take care of their benefits. That's what makes you a responsible miner. Diba? And and that's what makes us a responsible miner. Just as if a parent is responsible, he takes care of his kids. He sees to their future. Diba? A parent is irresponsible kung pinabayaan nila yung bahala yung mga anak ko sa buhay nila, magmamadyong ako or whatever. Irresponsible yun. Ganun rin sa pagmimina. Actually, ganun rin in every business. A business is responsible if it follows the law, pays the right people, the right salaries, pays its taxes. If it doesn't do those, it's not responsible. It's as simple as that.
All right po. So, napag-usapan naman natin yung pagiging law-abiding. Sir JB, having studied dun sa law school ng UP, sa perspective ng nakapag-aral ng law, ano ba yung siguro what's at least one thing that you wish to be amended doon sa law in terms
Mining Act.
of yes po.
Ako siguro kasi ganito no. Kunyari, let's assume may mining sa Davao. Wala, di ba? Let's assume may mining sa let's assume JMC is the Jose Maria Mining Corporation. JMC siya. Yan ang headquarters nyo sa tabi ng airport. Pag nag-mine ka sa Davao, the national government gets the biggest chunk of the shares. The local government, Davao City, will get, I think, 30% or less. I think dapat baliktad yun. Dapat the community should get the bigger chunk because it's their property. And the national government should get the smaller. Di ba? If you do that, I will tell you, every LGU gusto niya magka-mining sa lugar niya. Nawala ka.
Tama. If it's for
diba?
For the people yung
Right.
directly mapupunta sa kanila.
Right.
Benefit.
Kung baliktarin mo yon na 70-30, gawin mong 30 sa government and 70 sa local, lahat yan may airport na bukas, di ba? Lahat yan may, di ba, yung magagandang, yung whatever. Pupusta ako. Pero kung 70-30, sasabihin nila, bubungkalin mo yung lupa namin, tapos dun sa Manila pupunta. Pero wag na lang. Yun sa akin ang hindi fair.
And let me just say na napaka-fair nung sagot mo, Sir JB. Although it sounds very peculiar, no, from the perspective ng na nasa
You know the
nasa
reason
minahan.
why. You know the reason why the national government gets 70%. Because of what we in law call the regalian doctrine, meaning every natural resource, whether you find it under your house. Vince, mamayang gabi, bago ka matulog, maghukay ka doon sa likod ng bahay mo, baka may ginto. Pero you see, the Regalian Doctrine means everything you find is owned by the state, not by you or Davao, by all the Filipinos. And siyempre, the national government represents all the Filipinos, di ba? So the chunk goes to the national government because it represents all the Filipinos. Yun yung rason doon. So, in effect, even if may mina makikita sa ilalim ng bahay mo, hindi pwede sabihin Davao, amin to. Hindi. That is owned by every Filipino, including me in Manila. I also partly own that. And that's the reason why we get the majority. Pero to me, bayaan mo na yung legal principle, give them 70% and get 30% to the national government. And pupusta ako, that will make the locals more demanding of responsible mining. Pag yan ang ginawa mo. Otherwise, sabihin na, maliit lang naman ang kukunin natin dito, bayaan mo ng irresponsable yan. Sige, hukain nyo na lang yan. Huwag nyo lang report yan. Yan ang nangyayari. Kaya ang daming irresponsible, ang daming mga illegal. Diba? Illegal, hindi nagbabayad ng tama Oh. Kaya sorry for the word, nagkakaletse-letse yung mga small-scale mining operations.
So in effect, para Sir JB it turns out na if there is a found treasure, it becomes our shared treasure sa lahat.
Yeah.
But Sir JB, I would rather not take your suggestion, me, digging tonight kasi baka ma-hit ko yung septic tank namin kasi malapit lang.
Ibang
Konti lang
treasure
kasi
yung septic
space
tank.
na hindi na-occupy ng bahay. So, baka baka sorry for the language yung sinabi mo rin. Alright, the views and opinion do not necessarily
reflect
Alright.
our company or our school.
Opo. Alright. Marian, paki-edit na lang. Toot. Okay. We have another question, Sir
Sure.
JB, from Princess Diane Bakudan. Paano po yung mga miners na hindi connected sa government or illegal miners? Ano po yung maaaring kaparusahan doon? Ayun po.
Matinding usapan yan dahil strictly speaking, pag illegal ka, dapat ipasara ka. Di ba? Dapat confiscated yung equipment mo, dapat ikulong ka. Pero let's face it, di ba? Kung illegal siya, paano siya nakakamina? May connection. Di ba? So yung connection yun nagpoprotekta sa kanila. See? So it's a common problem for the Philippines, hindi lang sa mining, everywhere else, di ba? Whatever industry, may illegal, may legal. Paano nakakapagpatuloy yung illegal? May connection So kahit na anong gawin natin, kung malakas ang connection, wala kang magagawa. But yun ang problema.
Alright. Thank you
Lalo na kung
Yes,
nakakapag-mine sa isang lugar na wala nakakakita. Ang dami nating isla. Di ba? Bigyan kita, kunyari, governor ako ng, bigyan kita ng isang isla. Sige, Vince, bahala ka dyan. Walang may alam. Tayo lang. Yun ang problema.
Sa akin, walang problema yun. Pahig ako. Joke lang. And then, Sir JB, taking from the perspective that mining is a business, sa business side ng mining, there's one question in relation to the promotion of doing mining from Nimrod Owen Contillo. Nasa taas po siya, timestamp 2:54 PM yung sir, why can't we advertise the good side of mining so that people can also learn where they got their raw materials from?
Good question, Nimrod. Pero it's if you go into business, you don't want to spend kasi for something na wala namang major benefit sa'yo. Di ba? Ulitin ko. Kasi pagpasok natin, kunyari, si Nimrod, ikaw, ako sa isang supermarket, wala naman dun section which says mining, di ba? It's meat, it's poultry, it's dairy, it's whatever. So, mga yun ang nag-advertise kasi they fight for your money in your wallet, di ba? I have Smart, I have Globe, I have Pure Foods, I have Century Tuna, I have Coke, I have whatever. Kasi these are the people who are trying to tell you when you buy, kami ang bibilin mo. Now, if you're a businessman and you know that if I spend on advertising, it's useless because the people are not going to buy anyway. Siyempre, businessman ka, hindi ka gagastos na ganun. Ang problema nga, yung nangyayari ay, di ba, kung hindi mo sasabihin kung gaano ka kabait at maunahan yung mga kaibigan mo ng isang kaaway mo, sabihin, ay si Vince, ganito yan eh. Di patay ka na. Dahil tahimik ka lang sa kabaitan mo eh. So dapat umiikot ka rin, sabihin mo, oy mabait ako ha. Ako si Vince, mabait ako. Di ba? Yun ang advertising eh. Advertising is telling people how great you are, so buy me. But sabi ko nga, kami, we don't sell to you eh. So as a businessman, hindi ka gagastos na ganun. Ang problema, pag pag nagka-letse-letse na may lumabas na issue against you, doon ka lang nagsascramble to tell your story, and by the time, it's too late. Kasi naniwala na yung tao sa una niyang narinig na balita. Di ba? Thank you for that question, Nimrod. Very important question.
All right. Ito, Sir Nimrod, let's now transcend to another dimension. Let's now go to economics naman tayo. Mining responsibility is from PJ Nuena pala. Ito na question. Takes account in its environmental impact, but is it possible that we'll run out of nickel here in the Philippines? Also, how
Yes.
can we sustain nickel? So parang supply and demand po.
Yes, PJ, it's true. We can run out of nickel because nickel is a finite supply. Or we can still find nickel, pero different grades of nickel yan. It will be such a low grade na hindi na siya financially viable. No? So how can we sustain nickel? Well, I would say that it might take more than 100 years pa before maubos ang lahat ng nickel sa Pilipinas. And we've been mining nickel for the last 50 years, so that's about 150 more years. Ang kutob ko, by the time my dogs are parents already and they have dogs and their dogs are parents, baka science might have discovered a substitute for nickel by that time, no? I'm not sure. But for as long as we need a mineral which resists heat and does not become rusty, we will need nickel, and we will have to find an alternative to that. But it is possible we will run out of nickel here. Indonesia is a lot. Remember, Indonesia is a archipelago of thousands of islands. Most of those islands are nickel islands. So hindi sila maubusan tayo. Pero 100 years from now, maybe 200.
Alright, sige. Maubusan tayo but it will take some time. Sir JB, punta naman tayo ngayon sa politics kasi pag-usapang pagmimina or mining, sikat talaga ito na figure. May question dito from Yelena Francesca. Asan na ba yun? Yeah, Yelena Francesca Lopez. My question, Sir JB, bakit against si Gina Lopez sa mining?
Kasi si the late Gina Lopez, she saw the examples of the responsible miners. So it was right for her. It was right for her to go against irresponsible miners. Ang problema, nila lahat niya. Doon ako disagree sa kanya. Sabi ko nga, di ba, kung, kunyari, I'll give you an example. Let's say one student goes to JMC and he was found that his bag contained something for which all the students now will not be allowed to bring a bag. Parang hindi naman yata fair yon, di ba? Kasi bakit dinadamay mo lahat? Yun na lang namang isang yun ang may kasalanan. Yun ang nangyari kay Ma'am Gina. Masyado niyang linahat na hindi naman rin fair yun. So yun.
Alright. What about the Philippines po? From Marchi Labus, Sir JB, does the Philippines have a large nickel deposit?
Yeah. We might have the third largest in the world or the fourth. Indonesia has a huge one, much bigger than ours. At saka, kasi ganito, no? The quality of your nickel is dependent on how old your country is. When I say how old your country is, how many years, hundreds of years before the country came out of the water and became islands. Okay? The older your country, the more the minerals, like South Africa has diamonds. That's an old country. Russia's diamonds. Tayo, we're a new country. So unfortunately, wala tayong diamonds, di ba? And sa nickel rin, Indonesia and the Philippines, magkakatabi tayo, we all rose from the sea, but they're older. So their nickel is more and of higher quality than ours. But we still have, pero mas marami ang kanila at mas magandang quality.
I hope that's clear po, Ma'am Marchi Labos.
Thank you, Marchi.
Yes po. Ito, Sir JB. Are the government agencies mandated to administer, manage, control, etc. The mining industry in terms of economic, environmental, sociocultural aspects of working together in sync?
Teka muna, Vince, bago ko sagutin yan, ang gaganda ng mga estudyante sa inyo, ah. Ha? Nakikita ko yung mga picture, parang mga candidates na Miss JMC, eh.
May
Oh, anyway.
may mga different poses ano eh, 'di ba? May
Oo
mga
nga.
signature poses diyan sila ano, Sir JB para ma-recognize ko sila agad.
Nakaka-distract. Anyway, sige. Are they working in sync? More or less, yes. MGB of the DNR, the DOF, di ba? They're working in sync. Again, ang ibabalik ko dito ay sometimes you're a bureaucrat in a government office, then you're confronted with the responsible Vince Mining and the irresponsible JB Mining. Pero si irresponsible JB Mining, ang ninaw niya si ganito eh. Naiipit tuloy yung government agencies, 'di ba? Kaino sila? Yun ang problema. But they're working in sync to the best of their ability, to be honest, yes. Pero yun nga, parang ang problema ay kuminsan beyond them na. Thank you, Ruchen. Candidate number 4.
Eto, Sir JB, may hypothetical question ako pa.
Sure.
Siguro something to do with power siguro na nagagawa ng from what you earn from mining. What if po Sir JB, I filed a lawsuit against your company. Sabihin na lang natin na naglabag kayo ng ng isang legal na ang tawag diyan. Nilabag niyo yung batas. And then I'm just an ordinary guy, living here in Mandug, Davao City, Philippines. And then I don't have that much. I don't have the the means. I am not well to do. Who do you think will win between the two of us?
Well, there is what is called the writ of kalikasan under the new law, which allows ordinary citizens to file, lawsuits like that, no, and then the court will take it on its own. But you stress an important point, no, na it's difficult for ordinary citizens to fight big people or big companies, or, di ba? However, to be fair naman to the MGB, kasi every quarter they go to your operation and they evaluate you eh. Pag may makita silang violation doon, they give you a notice of violation. So, kuminsan, bago pa siya maging issue sa publiko or because may nag-complain, pupunta sila doon, bibigyan kang notice of violation, and you ask to explain. Otherwise, you will get a cease and desist order or CDO, which is not CDO Cagayan de Oro. A cease and desist order na tumigil ka sa operasyon hanggang hindi mo nasasagot yung complaint na yun. Si Ruchen nag-thank you, haha daw, thank you for answering. Ayan. So yun yung sagot doon, Lord Vincent, na yung MGB mismo, siya mismo every quarter they have a multipartite monitoring team. When I say multipartite, it's government, it's NGO, it's church. They go to the different operations and they give you a passing grade or they identify, ay, may problema ka dito ha, ayusin mo yan. Yep.
Alright. Sir JB, ito, sa akin na to ha.
Daming magagandang tanong ah.
Oo nga, Sir JB. Don't worry, almost done. Pero ito sa akin, Sir JB, you may or may not answer this.
Sure.
Kasi ito yung tinatawag ko when I do interviews ito yung tinatawag ko na probing question. Kung sa law siguro ito sasabihin siguro nung lawyer mo na objection, Your Honor, the question is leading. Sir JB, has Nickel Asia or Asian Nickel ever committed something illegal sa industry?
Well, not intentionally. We would do something which we thought was according to the law, then we would be told, oy, mali yan. And then we have to argue bakit, no? Yung pala nagpalit na pala yung regulation, hindi namin alam, di ba? Or something like that. Like for example, in one mining firm, we have a partner na Japanese na may planta, they needed to build a wall. What do you need to build a wall? You need rocks, di ba? So, nagtangga kami ng rocks do sa bundok para malagay yung yung pader nila. Kasi pag walang rocks yung pader, tatumba yun, di ba? Yung pala, yung pagtanggal namin ng rocks doon sa wall na yon, considered mining yun nung MGB. Sa amin, hindi. Hindi naman, kasi sa amin yung mining, yung tatanggalin namin ng rock, ibibenta namin, mining yun. Pero kung tatanggalin mo yung rock at lalagay mo sa pader, hindi naman, yun. You see? So yung ganong klaseng error ba na, well, of course, we have to follow. If they say it's illegal, so we have to pay. Pero that was an example of something we did, not intentionally, but which we were told was against the law.
I see. Thank you for the honesty po, Sir JB. I
Sure.
think this is going to be the last one from our JMC EduFriends. EduFriends na lang itago sa kanila para madali ang sabihin. What safeguards are present to ensure environmental protection before mining operations are conducted? That's from Cassie Monique.
Yeah, so you get the mining permit for a mining area, then you have to submit a mining plan to the government. So they have to see. Every time you decide to mine, you have to submit a plan to the government. Papakita mo kung ano yung ma-affect, no? And yung actually, yung mining area mo naman, maliliit lang yan. You know, it's 10 hectares this year, 10 hectares next year. Kasi you also want to control the supply, di ba? You were talking about nickel kanina. Siyempre, ayaw mong buhusan ng malaki yung market para hindi bumaba ang presyo. So it's small area, small area. You have to submit the plans to the government. And it's not only before, it's even during. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, there's a quarterly check-up by the MGB. You know, they visit you and they start, oy, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Yun. And then, as I said, there is a requirement of the Mining Act, the 1994 Mining Act of the Philippines, that after you are done, you have to restore or rehabilitate the area. Again, you will not be given final authority to get out of the area unless hindi mo pinakita ulit yun. So lahat yun is in place before, during, and after. And I tell you, if you are dealing with decent government officials of the MGB, walang problema yan. And if they're dealing with a decent and responsible mining operation, walang problema yan. Ang problema yung, sabi siya, pare, wag mo napansin ito, may lagay. Tapos gago rin yung taga-MGB, hindi lang siya titingin, ayun. That happens. I'm sure that happens. I cannot give you an example. We don't know, but I'm sure that happens. But that's the problem.
It happens that, you know, sometimes they could be keeping their, you know, blind eyes.
Yep.
And
Looking away, diba? They look away.
Okay po. Sige, I think, hold on. I think that's the last one. Yeah, I believe so. Just a few questions na lang po from me. Mga light questions naman ito. You know,
Light question.
for the Opo, so parang makakahinga ka na ngayon. you can you know, unroll your sleeves.
Okay.
Why do you do the things that you do? Para ma-inspire naman yung ano natin, yung mga balak magmina.
Well, sabi ko nga, because how, if we do not mine, where will I get my next iPhone? Diba? You have to for as long, in fact, nito, sabi ko nga kay Ma'am Gina dati, Ma'am, ayaw niya namang mining, sige. Hindi na tayo bibili ng starting today, ha? Lahat ng gamit mo, umikot ka, tingnan mo, pati bahay mo, lahat yan, hindi mo napapalitan yan, ha? Yung ref mo, yan ang ipapamana mo sa anak mo, na ipapamana ng anak mo sa anak niya, at ng anak niya sa anak niya. Yung TV, ganun rin. Di ba? Yung cellphone mo, brand new ngayon, pagdating sa apo mo, baka hindi na gumagana, hindi mo napapalitan yan. Kasi, the moment you decide na palitan mo yan, saka kukuha ng materials unless imina mo. Diba? So, that's why we have to mine, because you guys keep on buying new cell phones. If you promise me that you will not buy any more cell phones for the next 50 years, then there will be less demand for mining. Same thing for cars, airplanes, ships, hospitals, whatever. But if you say, I need to buy one, then somebody has to mine in order to provide you the raw materials. It's as simple as that. Gusto niyo ba yung
Basta
hospital
ano lang,
niyo?
ano, yes
Go ahead.
po. Basta ano lang, Sir JB, no, basta ano lang, hindi lang siya extreme. Ano yung, and I think everything needs ano lang, moderation. No, yung,
Yeah,
ano
sabi
lang,
so, basta they just follow the law, di ba? Wag silang va-violate. So the law is there to ensure yung moderation na sinasabi mo eh. Ang problema, if they do something out of the, yun ang problema.
I see, sige. As promised, yun na po ang last. Ito
Yeah.
na talaga yung lightest question. Ito yung
Okay.
this or that question. Mabilisan po ito na tanong. If you're a fan of Boy Abunda, this is
Ah,
the type of question.
he's a friend of
Technically,
mine.
we call that the this and that question in doing interviews. Yes sir, na-mention mo kasi kanina. So papiliin kita, Coke or Pepsi?
Coke,
Lazada or Shopee?
Lazada,
Blue or green?
Blue.
Lazada ko, nanonood ba si Kuya Will ngayon? Wala akong jacket, Sir
Ah,
JP. Joke lang. GCash or Paymaya?
Gcash,
McDo or Jollibee?
Jollibee,
Eto, last na lang talaga. Asian Nickel or Atlas Consolidated?
Nickel.
Dapat no, yan lang kinig yung may-ari ngayon.
Yung boss nandito eh. Mahirap na.
Nandyan pala si boss, kaya pala. Sir JB, before we present to you our anong tawag yan, our token of
Diploma.
appreciation. Opo, yung
Oo.
diploma mo, okay. May tawagin ko muna yung namin, President, by virtue of the Hindi, any last few words po, Sir JB, sa lahat ng ating
Just one
kababayan?
more. Just one more.
Yes po.
A few years back, President Duterte said, I will stop open pit mining. Di ba? Kasi open pit, yung kumisan you fly, makikita mo may bukas na... See, the problem lang there is this eh. Some of us, nung pinanganak tayo, cesarean. Ang nanay natin, binuksan, di ba? Kung malaki kang baby, binuksan na nanay mo parang bangus mula ulo hanggang paa binuksan na gano'n kasi malaki kang bata eh. Pero kung maliit ka lang, doon lang sa tiyan may butas. Yung iba naman sa atin, pinanganak yung normal way, walang operation, di ba? That happens because it depends on the nature of the baby. Kung minsan, kung yung ulo ng bata, mali ang lugar, mahirap makalabas, so they have to open mother. Kasi dapat ulo unang lalabas because that's the biggest part of the baby eh. So pag mali ang posisyon ng bata, they have to open the mother. What I'm saying is, mining is the same way. The procedure to do mining, whether it's open pit or underground, depends on where the baby, which is the ore, is. If the ore is underground, then you build a tunnel. If the baby or the ore is in the surface of the lupa, then you just do open pit. You cannot ban any of the procedures. You cannot say, hindi pwedeng cesarean, dapat lahat normal. Mamamatay ang baby nun. Or you cannot say, hindi pwedeng normal, dapat lahat cesarean, kasi kawawa ang mother, hindi naman kailangan, pwede naman lumabas ng normal. Same thing sa mining yun. That is something which I found out after I joined mining. I never knew that before. It's a cook, who cares, diba? But I found out na mining pala is like giving birth. The baby is the ore, and the process, whether cesarean or normal, depends on where the baby is. So this tells you that there's so many misunderstood concepts of mining out there. And we can't blame them, sabi nga sa'yo, kasi mining people, they don't tell the country what they do, and they don't spend eh. So nauunahan sila ng bad stories, and that's where we are. But I am really, really, I please extend my thanks to Dr. Mark. This is such a great program. I am happy that you guys who are not into mining anyway seek to hear opinions like this, diba? Because then you get to hear opinions of other people eh. And frankly, you may or may not agree with people you will hear on this program, but trust me, what you will hear will stimulate your brains. And that is the most important computer of all. Unfortunately, walang nickel dyan sa utak ninyo, di ba? But that is the most important computer of all, and this program is a great program to stimulate that. So I am thankful to have been part of this, and congratulations to the many candidates for Miss JMC na nakita ko. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I hope to visit your school next time I'm in Davao.
Ayan po. I really like the metaphors na ginamit mo, Sir JB, no, made everything clear. And I was like, okay, ganun pala yun. Alright. Siguro if any layman could can actually relate na ganun pala. All right. Sir JB, how do you say thank you sa inyong probinsya?
Salamat.
Salamat.
Tagalog ako, ano ka ba?
sa ano kasi sa mga Bisaya kasi Sir JB, kami yung parang galit kami pakinggan, pero at
Ah,
the same time sweet naman kami kasi gina-exaggerate
oo,
namin lahat ng mga ng bagay,
okay.
expressions. We do not merely say salamat, we really say daghang salamat. Salamat jud
Okay,
kaayo ha, something inana.
okay.
May mga talaga yung mga
Stress.
qualifiers.
Oo.
Yes po, may strength talaga ng
Hindi
And
naman kayo
on that
galit,
note po,
'di ba?
Sir, yes po. Sir JB, on that note, we would like to say salamat, daghang salamat, ug salamat jud kaayo sa imong presensya. And at this point in time, we'd like to formally express our institutional gratitude on behalf of our founding president, Pastor Apollo Buloy, Ma'am Rose Dumagnaon, our school admin, and the whole JMC family. We'd like to present to you this certificate of appreciation. Ayan, may read the citation po. Jose Maria College, Philippine-Japan Friendship Highway, Sasa, Davao City. Certificate of appreciation is awarded to Mr. Jose Bayani D. Baylon, the Vice President for Corporate Communications of Nickel Asia, for your selfless service and sharing your knowledge and expertise as our highly esteemed resource speaker in the webinar entitled Economic Impact of World Mining, Its Challenges, Issues, and Prospects during the JMC EduTrends live streaming program given this 10th day of September 2021 at Jose Maria College, Philippine-Japan Friendship Highway, Davao City, Philippines. Signed by our President, Dr. Felix C. Chavez Jr. Yan po. Once again, we are more than grateful to have you po, Sir JB. Once again, on behalf po of Jose Maria College, daghang salamat. Salamat jud kaayo for being part of JMC Edu Trends episode. All right. Once again, for JMC Edu Trends, this is Vince. We hope we've had the pleasure of your time. See you in our next episode. Keep safe. Goodbye. Peace out. Sir JB, salamat.